Hi, this is Jasmine Bibb presenting my social justice quilt, and I'd like to begin with a passage from the textbook Diversity, Oppression, and Change. Quote, social workers recognize culture as a source of strength for individuals and communities, end quote. And this is a perfect summary of this quilt, which represents my history, identity, and culture. And I'd like to start with the picture in the upper left-hand corner, which is a picture of Detroit, where I was born. And in that picture is a picture of the southern United States where my grandparents were from, particularly Georgia and Alabama. And this is a picture of my paternal grandparents. And I used this picture in Detroit as a symbol of oppression. And my grandfather came to the North via the Great Migration or the Black Migration to seek opportunities for work. And because of the racist practice and laws in the South, he came to the North. However, um, as social workers, we should adopt the both and mind frame instead of a either or mind frame or a good bad mind frame. So my grandfather moving from the South to the North didn't shield him from racism. So he was both seeking opportunities which were available up in the North, but also um, being oppressed in the unions in the industry where he worked, which was the automobile industry. So it's a both and um, history dynamic. And to the right of that is a before after picture of my childhood home. One picture was in the 90s where the economy was booming, and to the right is a picture of the house when it's abandoned and the economy isn't doing so well. And this is also an example of oppression as far as segregation and opportunities, redlining, and things like that. To the right is a picture of my family. To the uh, above is my family in the 90s, and below is my family recently. So that's that. Another picture of my sibling, my twin brother, us as adults and us as toddlers. Moving down is a picture of my cousins, which is a big part of my childhood, and family is very important, especially in social work. And one of the NASW um, ethics and standards is the value and importance of human relationships, and that was a good representation of that. Next is my childhood picture of me in gymnastics, and an adult picture of me taking a pole dancing class. And while I was constructing my quilt, these two pictures made me think of my privilege of being able bodied. Um, because ableism will be present in social work and dealing with people, which is something I'll have to be aware of and which will increase my cultural competence and my humility. Next to that is a picture of my grandmother, my mother, myself, and my daughter. And these are four generations of women in my family, and women, and especially Black women, and the ideology and history of Black women is also very important in social work. To the right of that is a picture of my pastor and my family. Religion is also a big part of my life and my history, which will be influential in my social work practice as far as dealing with people, being compassionate and caring. Going down, there's more pictures of my family, cultural pictures of my music preference and my interests that shape my life. I also put a picture of the matrix um, as far as representing the conditioning we have in society, which shapes our prejudices, our stereotypes, etc., and always being aware of that. Um, Below that are my diplomas, my university diplomas. This is a privilege of having higher education. And to quote Patricia Hill Collins from the Black Feminist Thought in the Matrix Domination, she says, knowledge is a vitally important part of the social relations of domination and resistance. And I thought that was important to highlight as well. To continue to the right of that, a picture of my husband and myself attending a protest in Paris, France, and this is during the time of George Floyd, who was assassinated on video. And this is an example of social justice and the value of that. And the NASW principle is social workers challenge social injustice, particularly with on behalf of vulnerable and oppressed individuals and groups of people. So that represents that in my life. Down is a picture of my family, my husband, daughter, and son. And that sums up my quilt. I like to end with some of the strengths that I have that will be helpful in my social work practice. And my strengths are being a Black woman, being family oriented, and having an education, having traveled many places in the world. I lived in France, Spain, and of course the United States. And in the quilt is represented here, and as well as the food that I eat and what I consume, all plays a part in what I'll be bringing to my social work career. Some of the areas I can work on is identifying my biases, identifying my stereotypes, and the things that we all face as far as dealing with the population, dealing with different clients, as well as working on my cultural humility and competence are areas I feel like I can always improve on. Um, and that is it. Thank you very much.